Welcome to In the Green Room. I'm Kinga.
And I'm Chet.
And can you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name's Kelly Boyle. I'm a wine geek that works for a wonderful family called Riboli Family Wines out of California.
Riboli?
Riboli. Yeah.
Riboli Family Wines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't want to butcher it. Okay,
No,
so
you're
Riboli.
good.
And how many wineries do they own?
So they own like 40 different labels. We have our major areas that we produce, and we have 1,800 acres in Paso Robles, so in the Central Coast, just inland from San Luis Obispo. If you've never been there, please make sure and go, because Paso's a gem.
Love Paso. Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorites.
Too,
I love Paso.
Then we also own a big chunk of land up in Monterey County as well, in the San Lucia Highlands, and then we have a small little parcel, 20 acres or so, in Napa Valley in the Rutherford Bench. So
we are so excited. This is your first show.
First show?
And we're hoping to have you on as an expert often.
I'd love to do it. I feel so honored to be invited, so this is great.
We're so excited. And you're just so, I feel like you're passionate.
Oh, yeah.
So passionate about what you do.
So which of their brands specifically would you say is kind of like their most impressive, like highest end, the one you would recommend to your best friend to try?
Well, it's interesting. It all depends on what you like to drink. So I think that's always what it comes down to.
And what you're eating.
Yeah, and what you're eating. So I always tell the story that it's like, if like I love to cook. I think everybody in the wine industry is a frustrated home chef, and we all think it would be fantastic to.
You want to be that close?
All right, perfect.
Okay.
I think it would be fantastic if you can open your own restaurant one day, but no one wants to work that hard. and so it's like we all struggle. But it's like, I've got a killer recipe for grilled octopus, and I just love it. Well, if you don't eat octopus, you might be able to appreciate it, but you don't really care for it. And that's always going to be kind of the struggle, is that what you like is not necessarily what I like, or something I'm very proud of that I think is really dynamic and special. You might just think is mediocre. So I love champagne. I brought you one of my favorite champagnes in the world today that we're going to try. I love unoaked Chardonnay, so I happen to bring a wine from the Chablis region, the village of Chablis in Burgundy, which is another stunner in our portfolio.
Is that the first one we're trying?
I just poured a little splash so we can wet our whistles. Yeah,
Yeah.
so cheers, guys. Happy Tuesday.
I need
Today's
a
Monday.
little more.
When is today? What is
Monday.
Today? Well, happy Monday. Shoot, see, I worked all weekend up in Flagstaff, so it was that was the issue.
Well, I want to say I'm glad that Chip asked you what is your favorite.
Sure.
And like your description of your favorite might not be everybody else's favorite, but I actually asked you.
Oh, that's very good.
I said bring all your favorites, and he brought some of his favorites.
Yeah, I did. Well, there's too many to.
That's right.
We only have an
right.
hour, so
every
and
time.
it is a Monday.
And it's a Monday.
If it was a Saturday, then maybe.
Yeah. And every show he's going to bring favorites.
I'll
So,
do it.
There we
Absolutely.
go.
And I usually do a little charcuterie plate too, but today was a meeting day all day long. So I'll bring food next time too. Then we can
That'd be great.
chomp on the air and
Yay.
annoy people. So that's all right. That's good.
So what is the difference between unoaked and oaked? I know the difference, but our listeners might be not so
That's a
experienced.
fantastic question. So it's kind of funny if you look at it. The Chardonnay is a relative newcomer to the United States. Burgundy and Bordeaux have always been admired, but if you think about really the wine country, Napa really got going right around 1900. They hit their peak, some say, back in the 40s, after Prohibition, when there was money available for investment, and you had people that were doing audacious things like John Davies, who opened Inglenook, which is now owned by Francis Ford Coppola. But they arguably made the greatest wine ever, which I think was like the 45 vintage of Inglenook Cabernet Sauvignon. But fortunes change and things go awry, and everything changes. But
all good things come to an end.
they do. Absolutely.
So it makes them good.
Absolutely true. So but it's funny with Chardonnay. We all started with this crisp, beautiful hint to tropical fruit, depending on where you're growing it, and the beautiful, bright, bracing acidity as well too. Incredibly food friendly, and people fell in love with it. Back in really the 80s, 90s, and beyond, we had certain producers that were adding more oak to the product, and going through a process called malolactic fermentation, which is a secondary fermentation. I won't get all malolactic.
See, I want to learn all this because I want to go to somm school.
Absolutely, we're in. So malolactic fermentation is a fermentation that takes place. It's induced. It actually occurs naturally as well in all wine. All red wine goes through it. Not necessarily all white wine does, but it's the process that takes the lactic acid, or excuse me, takes the malic acid, which is like the acid that's in a Granny Smith green apple, and turns it into lactic acid, which is the acid that's actually in milk. So when you drink a Chardonnay and it's creamy, and then buttery, that's the malolactic fermentation, the effect of it that you taste. Yeah, and then the oak is it's that toasty vanilla note that we typically get, and that comes actually from the oak aging as well. So,
I like the oakiness.
Yeah, absolutely, and everybody's got their own style. You know, there's certain ones where it took off. I mean, that's what really made Chardonnay in the United States, was when the general public experimented and tried their first oaked Chardonnays, and it really took off. So this is a classical Burgundian style from the northernmost little part of Burgundy, and traditionally they don't use any oak at all, or if they use oak aging, it'll be from neutral oak barrels, which don't impart anything in it. So it's very crisp and very bright, and
organic. You said.
Yeah, and we are.
You stepped out of the room. All their wines are organic.
Yeah, everything's
sustainable.
Yeah,
wow.
Everything we do is third-party sustainably certified. And this
certified.
is
big deal.
It is, yeah. So I mean, a lot of people can put stuff on a label, but you really have to have people to back it up as well too.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I didn't know that when we were having lunch the other day, because we never mentioned that.
Yeah.
And to find that out today, I'm just blown away. I'm so excited about all your wines.
That's great.
And to have you on, I'm just so thrilled.
Thank you
so much. So what are we tasting here? So how would you describe?
Sure. So this is Le Glory Chablis. So this is a negociant property that we own the label, we own the wine. We work with winemakers in the different regions to make the products. So this actually comes from the village of Chablis, the area of Chablis in northern Burgundy.
I know Chablis because that's what my dad drank all the time.
Oh, did he?
Chablis. He loves Chablis.
So absolutely beautiful wine, and it's elegant. It's understated. Typically, you find with the French wines, they're in other parts of Burgundy, they will actually use French oak for aging, and they'll age it with the lees, the dead yeast cells still in the barrels, and they'll stir it, and actually creates more of the creaminess as well. This is going to be more of that bracing crispness. So it's the style of Chardonnay. You mentioned that you really like oaky Chardonnays. And like I said, they're all the rage. And
well, I really love this.
Adore.
So how would you describe it?
So what it is you like good wine.
I just love great wine.
Exactly.
I just love great wine.
That's the story. Yes. I mean, that is what. So, and the only way that we find these things out is to drink as much as you can. So it's always wonderful. I highly recommend, if you ever get a chance to go to a wine tasting, or if there's a vendor event or a festival, they're doing wine festivals, or just break down, treat yourself, go to wine country, any of them. I don't care if you go to Temecula, they have good wines too, but that's a quick 4-hour drive from Phoenix. But there's great wine out there, and all 50 states produce wine, quote unquote. Some of it better than others, just really depending on the terroir, and where it's grown, how it's grown, the heat.
Even here in Arizona, we have great wines.
We sure have
some good ones.
We have some great wines.
Chiricahua Mountains down south by Sierra Vista, and then up in Cottonwood as well too. Some really beautiful producers.
We've had Sam Pillsbury on.
Oh, have you? I love Sam.
At least 10 times.
Awesome. He's a kook. Yeah, I love that guy.
He's great.
He's amazing. What a personality.
I mean, he's just legendary.
He's a great ambassador for the wine industry in Arizona.
It's incredible. So I would rate this on a scale from 1 to 10. A 10.
Oh, you do 100 with wine.
Oh, thank you. 100.
You act like we've never done a wine tasting.
You're right.
So what is this?
It's been a long day, but 100.
So
I love it.
The unfortunate part for pretty much all of these wines that we're going to taste today is these are gems. Everything's very, very small production. I'll tell you the story on this one in a little bit.
Would you say boutique-y?
It's very boutique, yeah, exactly. So it's small.
Can you give Chet the definition of boutique-y for wine?
Boutique is
I know what boutique is.
It's the artistic, very, very small. It'd be like a small batch bourbon where you're just making something very small, very precious, and you don't compromise on quality. So, so we have some beautiful boutique wines that we're going to be having today. Some of them incredibly rare, and that being said, because they're rare, you won't find them at most retail outlets.
Do you understand that? You have to get them
typically need
through Kelly or
no,
Kelly Boyle or through the website?
Would you want me to? I'll tell you the story of the. We're the only industry, I think I told you this before, we're the only industry that's regulated by the U.S. Constitution. So sorry.
It's okay.
Can we filter that out? Or
No, it's fine.
Turn it off? Let it.
Yeah, we live it.
We're the only industry that's regulated by the U.S. Constitution. So in 1919, the Volstead Act passed, which enabled prohibition. So in 1920, all the taps were closed off. Went for the dark 13 years of our country's history until the 21st Amendment was passed, which repealed the Volstead Act. And so with that, we have to have, we set up for the protection of the public, quote unquote, the three-tier system. So you have your people who make the wine, then the wineries have to sell it to a distributor, unless you're distributing it on your own, but you have to sell it to a distributor in another state or in other countries, whatever it happen to be, and then they will take it from you, they purchase it from the winery, and then they'll turn around and sell it to the wine shop or the grocery store or Costco or whoever it would happen to be. So with that being said, I actually can't sell wine. I sell wine to my distributor takes it out. When you guys are looking for these wines, or any of our folks out there that are listening, you can find these wines at specialty wine shops, and everything's always available. As long as they have it in the state, it's always available for order. So if you go into any place that has a liquor license and say, I would love to try that Nomini Renard Special Club 2016 that Kelly talked about on the radio, if we have it in stock, they can order it and they'll get it to you, and they typically give you a really good price too, because it's not a normal item that they have, and you're going to buy the product you ordered. So
did they make it that three-step system because the prohibition was making too many gangsters and they had too much power? Is that the reason why they split it up?
A great question, Chad.
I would assume that's
yeah,
why.
That's a great question.
So what happened before? So you think about before prohibition is that you had the producers who were actually, so let's just take whiskey. They would make the whiskey, the White Lightning or whatever. They'd age it.
Oh, he knows all about spirits too. We're going to do shows about spirits too.
It's true. But so we'll end up and they'll take it. They'll make the product, and then I'm a sales guy, and maybe I've got St. Louis, so I'm going to buy 20 barrels of whiskey, and they're called rectifiers. So then they would go and they would water it down, they'd bottle it. So they'd buy just barrels, and whatever the distiller did, they didn't care. It was out the door. It was money for them. The rectifiers would take it, rebottle it, repackage it, whatever. They could add, water it down, add antifreeze back into it. A lot of people, and you hear about it in a lot of
antifreeze?
Yeah, well, because you can get drunk on it if you don't drink a little bit. You drink too much, it can kill you. But you hear in India and a lot of developing nations, things like that, where people make their own alcohol or distill their own products. Well, the problem was, in the government and the way that they got around this, is that if we have people that are adding unsafe things to liquor or wine, just to get you drunk, people were dying because of it and being poisoned. So what they ended up doing was saying, okay, this is a three-tier system. Somebody's going to actually receive it from the people who produced it. It's going to be bonded, or it's going to be, we're going to basically verify that this is the real actual product, and then they'll turn around and be able to guarantee to the retailer that this is the legitimate product and it's not going to hurt your people, and it keeps that quality level there as well too. You don't have anybody monkeying around with it. In my personal opinion, off the books, just between us girls here in the studio, what it really comes down to is the government has to get its tax money.
Yeah, they wanted their piece of the pie.
It's like they need to go to one person they can collect their dollars from, and they know that if a distributor wants to stay open another year, they better make sure that all the taxes are paid. So, but it is for the protection of the public, and it still exists in this country because of that as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
I love it. So how did you get involved with this family?
Oh, great question.
Yes.
So I have a
Riboli.
Riboli. Great.
Riboli.
I have absolutely. I have a long. I've been in the industry in Arizona.
That's good.
For 3 decades now. I started as a college student up at NAU, studying hotel restaurant management. That led to an internship, which led to a career, and it was great. I got on with a local distributor. Ended up working from a part-time job as a merchandiser, stocking grocery store shelves and cold boxes and such.
But you didn't like working for hotels.
You
didn't like it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I was studying hotel restaurant management. Didn't want to work in restaurants because that's where my family came from. Worked in hotels to put myself through school, and I really didn't like that. So my professor said, have you considered alcohol? You love wine, and maybe we can do something with it. So it led to a job.
This career.
Yeah, and a career.
And he's doing great.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's important because we're going to talk about all these wines, but also on the side, you do little get-togethers where you come and you teach people about the wine
Sure.
and spirits.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
Walk
so
us through that.
I have a little side project that started out of a charity offering that we did called Spirited Tastings, and I would do in-home wine tastings or spirit tastings or whatever would have the educational stuff. That led to a fun little side gig. So I've been doing that for about 15 years now, almost 20 years. And it's just, I love when people have the passion and they want to learn about the stuff, and it's so interesting. It's crazy. I've done my favorite tasting I think I ever did was for Peoria Police Department.
Really?
I have a relative that is a sergeant in the force, and his guys were they were like, you talk about this Kelly guy all the time, and he takes you out, little educational stuff, and he's just geeks out on whatever. And he said, yeah, can you put together a little bourbon thing for us? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And he ended up kind of opening it up, and we ended up like 35 cops in his backyard. And I'm like, oh man, this is just gonna be a drunk fest. And they were like locked in. It was like schoolroom, classroom style. They're taking notes. We're nosing stuff. I'm telling them there's no bad bourbon. There's bourbon you like and don't like, just like wine. We had the best time. It was like 2.5 hours. When we got all done, they're putting away the tables and they're cleaning up for my cousin Chris. And it's like, this is just a blast. And then but I see it all the time. I'll do tastings for the neighborhood parties where you have the women who want to get more into wine, so they'll hire me to come on over, and we'll do tastings and stuff. And like I said, most of my stuff I do is just for charity, where I'll do my donate my time, and then sometimes product that I'll purchase as well for silent auctions to raise money for charities.
What are you doing Thursday? I'm not saying who's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying who's. Somebody I know is having an open house.
Oh, fun.
On Thursday,
Yeah.
and you could do a wine tasting at that.
So I've got my real job I have to be careful about.
Okay.
But I appreciate it, and typically a little more notice I can do it. Nothing during the day though, because I've got my real job.
It's like 4 to 7.
Oh,
Because I know that he said.
Should we open up this champagne?
Yes.
Let's do
yes,
champagne.
Let's do the second one.
I like it.
Yes.
All right, so this is an interesting animal, and like I said, I really enjoy this. I don't know if you'll enjoy it or not. I hope that you guys do.
Is it actually champagne?
This is champagne from the Villeneuve region, which is south of Epernay in the Champagne region. There's 15,000 people, families, and co-ops that grow grapes in Champagne, and most of them actually go to the big negociant houses. So think Veuve Clicquot or Moet and Chandon. They purchase almost all of the juice, and they'll make the wine, or sometimes they buy finished wine as well. But they're doing all this different non-vintage product that gets blended together to come up with their house style, so it's consistent every year. They'll blend back vintages in with the current vintage as well too, so every year
It's not very boutique-y. It's always the same.
it's not, but the quality,
Is that outstanding?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason champagne's expensive.
There's no champagne I don't like.
That's wonderful. Well, I bet we could try and find one, and I would take that challenge. That'd be a lot of fun.
Just watch your eyes, guys.
Let's go.
Remember, there's 2 winemakers that have no eyeballs.
That's true. All right, so this
it's
is
going towards me.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm not even there yet. You're good for a minute.
I mean, how did they? Here, let's go like this.
He's taking the top off still.
So everything comes with the foil. So you have the foil.
Okay, we're learning how to do it.
So we want to think about this almost like I don't know, handling a loaded gun. So you're completely
But
safe.
can you tell the world
Yeah.
about your 2 winemaker friends that have glass eyeballs?
Yeah, that's true. So I've that's always been kind of the joke, is that there's an urban myth that X amount of people a year in the United States lose an eye to champagne corks. It's not as common. You're actually more likely to be stabbed to death in a steakhouse by a steak knife than you are to lose an eye or be maimed or killed. They say that like 8 people are killed a year with champagne. No, that's
dying from it is almost impossible unless it went somehow down your mouth and you're choked on it. But it can take your eye out.
Can take your eye out for sure. So with that, if you ever wonder why champagne bottles are so heavy, it's 3 times the thickness of a glass of a regular wine bottle.
Oh, okay.
Because of the secondary fermentation that takes place in the bottle. So they'll make a still wine first, and then they'll fill it up with the still wine, and then we're going to add
sugar,
a little sugar and yeast. Exactly.
See, I listen.
She's good. She's good. They throw a cap, like a crown cap on top of it, like a Budweiser cap would be, and then the yeast will be eaten up by the sugar and creates that CO2 and the pressure. And so you're actually about 3 times that of what a car tire would be in here. So that's why the cork can escape at speed. But there's a couple of easy things to do to protect yourself, and no one ever has the same problem.
And this is the real way. Gabe, are you watching how to do it properly? So you don't make your girlfriend blind?
We gotta be careful. Yeah. So first and foremost, I just always keep my thumb on top of the cork, and you never have any problems. I'll leave the cage on. Somebody will take the
cage. Okay.
Yeah,
the cage. I love
cage.
calling. Okay.
So
we're learning the right terminology.
6 twists always.
You made a big deal at lunch that it's 6 twists.
Yeah, it's a special number of the French, and I believe it stands for eternal love. So
really,
yeah, so that's why they do 6 twists. But once you let loose this, it's like taking the safety off.
What happens if you do 7?
I don't know. It just, they don't do it.
Okay.
That's tradition.
Okay.
So
6 twists.
Once they get that done, I just loosen it up. Now leave the cage on. The secret, if you 2 pounds of pressure on top of this cork with your thumb, cork's not going anywhere. You can go dancing with it, and as long as you have that, you should be in good shape. The issue becomes when you let that go or set it upright and let it sit. As it starts to warm up, that pressure will build, and that's when they self-eject. They always say that you were saying that your dad used to love to pop a cork and have it shoot across the room.
He'd say, "Watch out!" and he'd go,
and the big fountain,
and then come out, and then he'd lose a little bit. He thought it was fun.
To me, wine is liquid poetry. So in my mind, I don't want you
to waste a sip.
A sip, exactly.
No.
So the perfect sound should be just a slight whisper. So what we'll do is we'll hold. I make an okay sign. Hold the top of the cork, and then with my other hand, my dominant hand, I will actually slowly twist the bottle while pointing it at a 45-degree angle, and very slowly.
Wait, can I videotape this part?
Sure. It's almost off.
Hold on, wait. Talk about.
I can do it.
Okay, hold on. This is fine that this is on there because a repeat's good. Okay, 1, and then we can put this on my Instagram. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, what's the proper way to open up the champagne? Can you talk about the 6 twists?
So sure, 6 twists actually stands for passion. This one's going to let go, so unfortunately I wasn't able to hold it on while we were videoing, but stands for the passion. With the champagne, you want to have a nice grasp on the cork itself and twist the bottle very gently, and the pressure will push itself out, and you just want it to be that little.
Is it already up?
Thing. Yeah, that was it. So.
You did it that perfectly?
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, and then how do we pour?
Okay, so then from there, we're going to do. So I wanted to talk about this too. So I even polished these, and that one's still not killer. So when we drink champagne, so the cool kids in class will use an all-purpose wine glass because it does a better job of trapping the aroma.
Cheers.
What are the advantages of a champagne glass then, or are there none? Is it just because it looks cool?
Well, let me walk you through it. So as you'll see in Kinga's glass here.
Thank you,
Set
Kelly
that there.
Riboli.
My pleasure. Let's
Riboli Fine Wines.
So set these down.
Okay.
And put that one next to that one.
Okay.
So this is a vintage flute from Riedel. And with that...
Oh, wait. Some people don't know that Riedel is one of the finest glassware.
Like 7, 8 generations. They're considered, the Rolls Royce.
All my wine brands have Riedel.
Yeah.
How do you spell Riedel? Because people
Riedel.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is wine professionals typically same thing as well.
Chad, if you're getting a girl a gift, you can get her like some Riedel.
We do it for every wedding gift that we ever go to. So
it's the best.
4-pack and a little.
Because everybody wants more.
Is that great? So it's gateway drug.
And I love that. You're right. Bring a 4-pack plus the
bottle of wine.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect.
So with the champagne flute, tradition was you either had the coupes, which was the urban legend as well too. Might be true, might not, but that coupe, that bird bath shape, was molded off the impression of Marie Antoinette's breast. So that was always that's the story.
I thought it was Marilyn Monroe.
No. That goes way back. She likes Dom Perignon. That's a different story. But with that, they transitioned to flutes, and the reason that you would do it, and they typically are more narrow and they're taller, and you would have this beautiful line of bubbles that goes up, which is called the perlage, and the perlage, and it will, if they make those big beautiful strings all the way to the top of the bottle of the glass, it's just it's a better presentation, so it's great. That being said, this one is specifically built for this style of champagne, but it is it's not your typical one, so you'd have a hard time actually getting your nose in there when you're sipping. But with this being a vintage, and smell that versus smell this, can go. Tell me what you think the difference is between the two.
Okay.
And that's always the issue when you're looking at a traditional champagne fruit.
This is immensely better.
It's crazy, right? And it's
Chet try to.
And it's just the way that.
And what do we say? Do we say
itself.
sniff? Do we say?
Yeah. You can.
Is
sniff.
that the word?
Sure,
That's another
absolutely.
word for sniff in the wine world.
And
it's
that's
bouquet.
what you're doing. Yeah, you're
It's a
dispensing the bouquet.
How's the bouquet?
The bouquet's gorgeous on this one.
Oh, it does make a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
It's weird.
Huge difference.
It's weird.
That's cool.
So with that,
let Gabe smell.
and one other
sniff.
thing, as you'll see, so now everything's starting to settle down, but you see how tiny those bubbles are?
Wow.
Yeah.
Typically,
That's
the
incredible.
better the quality and the longer it's been aged, the finer that mousse becomes as well too, or the perlage. It's just tiny.
The
bubbles.
perlage.
Yeah, smaller the bubbles. The better
Let's
the wine.
quiz Chet. Chet, what's the perlage?
The bubbles.
Oh, good man. He's in.
Gosh, see?
Chet pays attention. He's good.
He did. See?
So let's do this together. So let's go ahead and take a look at it.
Okay.
Cheers. Excellent. Cheers. Chin chin.
Chin chin. Gabe.
Did Gabe
Chin
get
chin.
some? Gabe, you should drink this. So this is
It's
actually, we're out of stock. You can't buy this anymore. This is a
Stop it. We're that
Yeah.
lucky?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is a 2014. Our current vintage is
Ha ha.
2016, so it's
We're
all
out
gone.
of stock. You can't have any.
They only made, I believe it, we made 120 cases, 123 bags.
Incredible.
It's
It's organic, it's
organic.
sustainable,
Mhm.
and it's delicious. I love it.
Glad you like
So,
it.
question: is it? What would this cost? If somebody would.
So this is the thing. So I'm going to tell the story of a grower producer champagne. So this is different than our Veuve Clicquots and our Dom Perignons, our Roederers, Bollingers, things like that,
Yes.
where they're purchasing a lot of fruit or purchasing finished wine. They're blending it all together. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's what made champagne popular. Is that styles. We brought that quality.
We love champagne.
And we love champagne. It's my favorite.
We love champagne. We love it.
All day, every day.
Love it. Yeah.
But with that, they all created, they want to have that higher tier. So you have Champagne Krug makes their
Grand Cru.
Yeah, exactly. And Grand Cru Vineyards.
Grand Cru.
And Dom Perignon from Moet. And Veuve Clicquot makes the Widow, I'm drawing a blank on it. The Widow Clicquot's. I'll come back to the Widow Clicquot. Sorry, it's been a while.
Okay.
But anyways, that's what called their tête de cuvée. It was the very best of the best that these houses were producing. And grower producers, like I said, there's about 15,000 people that grow grapes in Champagne. There's about 5,000 families that will make some portion that's kind of their own label. Most of those things actually just go to the local market. Local villages like to drink local, just like we like to drink local as well too. So that being said, of the grower producers that are the top quality, only about 150 to 200 of those actually make it into the United States. They don't export them because the quality isn't there. And if you think champagne, you have that certain quality
Yes.
level in your mind. You better hit it or you have
Yes.
problems. So with grower producers, they take it almost, if you think of the big wine houses in Napa or Paso or wherever it would happen to be, that they are 100% estate. So but being estate means that it is grown on property and it's made on property as well too. So they don't purchase any fruit from anyone else. If they have
It's
a
just
bad,
right there for them.
if they have a bad vintage, they will sell off all their grapes. They won't make wine that year. So with that, this is our tête de cuvée, and it's called the Trésor Club or the Special Club. So you'll see this bottle, and if you look up Special Club online,
Wait, so it says Special Club?
Special Club right there, the Trésor, which is the treasure, is a group that was founded in 1971, and it was from 12 original winemakers that were the longest producing and highest quality family grower producer estate champagne houses. And they got together and said, how are we going to compete with Dom Perignon? How are we going to compete with Champagne Krug? And with that, they said, okay, let's step out and figure out how we can do this. So they developed this system where they do a double blind tasting. First, when it's been crushed and fermented and it's a still wine that's been blended together, but before it goes through second fermentation, and everyone has you're judged by your peers, and everyone tastes, and they have to sign off on it, or you don't get to be in a special club that year. And then secondly, they'll go ahead and make the wine, and then when they feel it's ready to be released, they will take and have to go through a second round of blind tastings, and they have to have 100% acceptance. You can't have one person says, no, this isn't of the quality to be considered special club. So with that, special club was born. They're up to 24 families now that all are in the special club. People have fallen off. People are still, people have joined. It's gone up and down a little bit, but it's tough, and you have to commit that this is the best product that you can produce. So a special club, there was less than 2,000 bottles of it produced in 2016 between all of the families, all 24 families. So you think how rare that is. It's just
so rare.
It's crazy. I did a wine
so
tasting.
This is priceless. You can't even put a price on it.
It's gorgeous. Well, and the funny thing is, though, because we're not a Veuve Clicquot.
And we're drinking it here.
Yeah, we're
in the green room.
Having today with us.
Saving the planet.
One show at a time.
With sustainable organic wines.
That's good.
And this is our champagne.
Absolutely. Enjoy. So with that, it's just a privilege to be able to sell it, but they're not typically crushingly expensive. It'll be less expensive than a bottle of La Grande Dame from Veuve Clicquot, I remember, or Dom Perignon.
So
it's less
where's the
expensive.
price range
So it's around 150.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna find it at retail if you can get it.
If you can get it,
you're gonna be anywhere from $125 to maybe $300 a bottle. And
you taste it.
And what's interesting about it, and what I really love, like we said before, with champagne, you are tasting the entire region. You're buying from all the different growing areas, typically for the big negociants that blend things together. With a grower producer, you're only tasting his vineyard, and this one's a 2014 vintage, so it's one single harvest, and it's from 6 different vineyards, and it's blended together. It's primarily Chardonnay, but it also has Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier in it as well. And
I remember that from our lunch, that typically champagne is made from Chardonnay and Pinot.
Right, and Pinot Meunier.
And this has to be the most unique tasting champagne I've ever had. So it
makes so good.
Yeah, it's unlike anything I've ever had. So
I agree.
It makes sense that it's small batch, because you can taste so many more intricacies, because it's not just basically blended into like a giant, just one taste is the uniform taste, like how you're saying how it is.
It's so unique, you're right.
Yeah.
It's so unique.
It's so unique. There's so many.
Gabe, did you hear that this champagne you're drinking
is
like anywhere from $150 to $300 if you can get it?
Well, the cooler thing to think about is you said only a few thousand bottles ever existed.
Exactly.
So.
It's incredible.
Yeah, tiny portion of what we do. So if you don't mind, I'll do the this. We're not supposed to do this when we're in sales, because you want to let the sommelier figure it out on themselves. But I'm going to guide a little bit of what I smell.
Yes.
So this has been in the barrel. So it was aged for 60 months, so 5 years on the lees. So on those dead yeast cells before they. And do you want me to tell that story about how you get it out?
Yes.
Okay. So with the champagne,
I'll have a little more so I can keep sipping.
Well, we got to go through this.
I'm not driving.
We can't. We got to finish this bottle.
Oh yeah,
especially before it warms up, too.
Champagne.
No, you're driving.
Well, we can just leave my car.
Excellent. My pleasure. Gabe, you need some more?
It's so good.
It's so good. I love this wine.
So good.
Love this wine. So with this, this wine in particular, or any champagne that's made or any wine that's made in the method champenois. So the method champenois means it has to have the second fermentation, has to take place in the bottle that you buy it in.
Sugar and yeast.
So all that stuff. So
the bottle you buy it in.
So they're going to take it. They're going to actually add the still wine, add the sugar and the yeast.
And the glass is going to be thicker.
And exactly.
So heavy.
With this bottle specifically. So and then they're going to put that cap on it and a little plastic cup on the inside as well.
And it's important to look for that if you're buying sparkling wine that's not champagne, so that way you know you're getting sparkling wine that's created properly in the original method, not just something that was cheaply carbonated.
Exactly.
That's an absolutely excellent point, because it talks about the nuance and how difficult it is to make the product, and you know that the winemakers and the owners are making that commitment, because like Prosecco, I mean, we all love Prosecco. Prosecco is delicious and it's incredibly popular.
Yes.
But it's made in great big 30,000 gallon tanks, and then they basically transfer it into a bottle, and then they charge it with CO2, or they'll charge the tanks and then and pump it in pressure. So it's not made in that bottle. Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's a different style. That's supposed to be fruity and frothy, and you don't feel like you're ruining it by adding a little orange juice or a little peach nectar and do a Bellini or something like that. but with champagne, it's all about the nuance. It's feminine, it's delicate. Something that you find though with aged products like this, especially since it's spent 5 years, is you look at the color.
I think it's elegant.
And
I think that's a good word for champagne.
Oh,
it's elegant.
Absolutely.
It's sophisticated, it's elegant, and it's luxury.
Yeah, it's luxury. Absolutely.
It's luxury.
So you look at the color though; it's a little darker than what we probably normally see.
No, this color's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. And you'll end up with
gold.
It's gold.
Liquid gold.
It's summer in a glass, a little bit of peach, and it's fantastic.
It's liquid gold.
It is. It's beautiful stuff. And with that, the color will deepen as well. You get the tertiary flavors where I get a lot of bready brioche notes to it on the nose, particularly.
And what's the terroir like there?
So for Champagne, great question. So it's relatively close to Paris. I beg you, if you are going to Paris, you can take the train. It's about an hour and a half drive to get there. It's like going to Sedona from Phoenix. And in my mind, when you go to France, it's exactly what I wanted French wine country to look like. It's rolling hills, it's stone walls, it's people on bikes with baguettes, and the whole deal. It was a cliche, and it was amazing. It was made such a great impression, and it's relatively close by. And
I'm gonna go this summer.
They treat you
Can
like.
Can you be our tour guide?
Oh, so let me know. I've got to book my date. But
I'm serious. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's such a beautiful experience, and champagne's expensive because consistency is tough. They get a lot of storm tracks that come through there in the summer, and hail is like the bane of their existence. They get a summer storm, the hail knocks the berries off the vine. Pinot Noir is the hardest grape to grow. It's got the tight clusters, and if it gets a little bit of water in there.
It's Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and what's your third grape?
Oh, that's hard. You're doing that, Tim.
It's on here, so look, Meunier.
Oh my God, he's amazing. So you're right.
I cheated though.
You're
It's
right. No,
okay,
it doesn't matter.
Because now he'll remember that.
This is an open notes test. We're good. We're good.
It is.
So
cheers. We have all
as well.
cheers.
Absolutely. Perfect.
One more.
So we're good.
God, that sounds like a bell. I love it.
So with champagne though, so since it can become very cold, they can end up with frost.
The grapes freeze?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we harvest, and specifically for champagne, they'll harvest before they're fully ripe.
But why can't you guys? Why can't people say, okay, let's make ice wine then?
So it doesn't get that cold, and we don't want it to hang that long either. So ice wine. Specifically, you're freezing, and that's a whole different show.
Okay, we'll do a whole different show with that. Do you do any ice wines?
I don't, but I can talk about it for.
Okay,
okay.
I love ice wines. Okay,
love them. Okay. But you have to have the right varietal and the right area to do it.
We'll do a whole ice wine show.
They harvest it frozen, so it's great.
Do you know about ice wine?
No, I don't.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. Yeah. It's like a sweet wine, kind of a dessert wine.
Yeah. And Niagara Peninsula of New York is amazing.
Well, my hairdresser, we're doing my hair tomorrow morning, so don't look at it. But she is.
Now everybody definitely looks at it. You understand that, right?
She's from Moldova.
Oh yeah.
She's from Moldova, and they're famous for their ice wines.
They do. Oh, gorgeous stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, and she said she's gonna go drink all that in a couple days. She's leaving.
That's great.
So, okay.
So with that, let me finish though. So with champagne, what we find is that. So it's Pinot Noir in particular and Pinot Meunier as well. They're both susceptible to like a dewy fungus that will grow if you get water on the grapes.
So it molds.
And it molds, and so that's where it becomes very difficult to make an organic champagne, because there's certain things like copper that they would treat the grapes with, things like that are all organic and natural, but at a certain point, some people choose to use pesticides or be able to use some treatments that
and your Riboli
or Nomini Renard, they don't use that.
They don't use any of those chemicals because they are certified organic.
Right.
And they're sustainable and organic. Okay, so keep going. Sorry.
So no, it's fine. So with that, it's it just becomes very difficult. And there's certain years where you'll lose half your production, and it'll be just a tight year, and that's typically when you see prices go up a little bit as well too. Mm-hmm. Scarcity creates a climate for hoarding.
Well, it's even like in Napa with the fires.
Oh yeah.
They had to, say, oh, all this is like, we can't use these grapes.
Yeah.
Because they're going to taste like fire.
Well, and that's
interesting. Pinot Noir is one of the more difficult grapes to grow.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite wines.
Yeah, mine too.
Oh, I love Pinot Noir. So why is it
That's
more
probably my
difficult
favorite
for Pinot
red.
Noir?
Yeah. So the reason it's very finicky. It likes a certain climate. It likes it cool.
It's a maverick.
It wants a long
maverick.
growing season. We always joke that it's the red wine for white wine drinkers, and Chardonnay is the white wine for red wine drinkers.
Interesting.
And if you get a chance, and I can maybe help you with this in the future, I have black wine glasses that you come in, and we do a blind tasting of reds and whites.
Oh, we'll do a show with that.
And you try and figure out what's what, and it's humbling because blind tasting is really tough.
Wait, I want to do a blind tasting show, and I want to bring in some real wine gurus.
Let's do it, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is great.
Love
So
it.
should we go to our next wine?
Yeah, let's.
I don't want to, but we have to.
No, absolutely.
Just because we're already at. Yeah.
Let's take one of the cups, and we'll use that as a dump cup.
Oh, I don't want to dump this.
Well, you drink. I have to be semi-coherent for my first radio appearance on your show. So.
Well, you can drink that later.
We'll do a dump bucket challenge with like the movie Sideways. So.
Yes. Oh, Sideways. I love that movie. Chad, have you ever seen the movie Sideways?
No.
What?
If you like Pinot Noir, you're gonna want to enjoy that show.
It's a great show.
All right, so this next one we're gonna do. Okay, very good. Next one we're going to do is, actually, we'll go to Le Glory. This is our Sancerre.
Oh, I love Sancerre.
Yeah, so
my gosh.
Sancerre is a little tiny village when you're ready.
Chet, one of my favorite wines is Sancerre. It's a region that Sancerre is like incredible.
Exactly right.
And I learned about Sancerre from Laura Bruno that used to work at Sanctuary. Now she's at
Laura's amazing.
She's an amazing somm.
Yeah, great palate. Knows what
incredible.
She's doing for sure. So.
Yes.
So with that, Les Glories, and it's named The Glories as an homage to the monks that really kind of took over after the fall of the Roman Empire. So the Romans were the ones who were responsible for planting grapes, basically. The Romans got it from the Greeks, and the Roman Empire spread, and everywhere they went, they would plant wheat on the fertile valley floor, and then the next best place to grow stuff was up on the hillsides, and it was just vines have to struggle to produce good quality, and they found that the hillside fruit just does better. And so with that, they took everything with them. After the fall of the empire, the Catholic Church really took over, and they had a lot of the land. A lot of the land was gifted to them, and with that, they became, they really were very protective of their reputations for the quality that they produced.
You know so much. I feel like you're an encyclopedia. Yeah. Too bad you're married.
Oh, God bless you. so with Les Glories, so we end up with so this is an homage to them. This does, as King said, this is the village of Sancerre. So it's 100% Sauvignon Blanc. And Sauvy B is incredible. It's having its day right now, and it has been for the last 15 years or so. But with the popularity of the beautiful crisp acidity to it, a little bit of that green apple and a little bit of pear, Anjou pear to it. It's just such a beautiful accompaniment to anything in the summer.
One of Chet's favorite is Sauvignon Blanc. And
Chet and I have like the same palate. That's amazing, man.
You actually do.
Yeah, I love that.
You actually do. He loves Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. Adore it.
And I just his favorite.
I just find it to be such a versatile wine. I love seafood. I love shrimp and scallops and all that fun stuff. And as long as you're not, and if you're having butter, then you go with Chablis or Chardonnay. And if you're doing pretty much everything else, I love to have a nice Sauvignon Blanc. I just find it crisp and refreshing, and it kind of goes with everything. It makes me happy. It's like an aperitif wine, but one that obviously.
Okay, hold on. You just said aperitif wine.
Yes. So instead of having an aperitif cocktail, it would be a glass of white.
And I know, I've heard aperitif, and I know that it means either before or after your meal. Mm-hmm. Which one is it?
Aperitif is typically before.
Okay.
Before a meal.
Learn that word.
Digestif is usually after, and that would be like your bitters, or if you're gonna have a cordial or something like that, or a sherry or something like that.
So aperitif is before your meal.
Yeah.
Like right before your meal to help digest the meal.
Yeah, it's to really prep the palate, cleanse the palate.
You can't hear the similarities to appetizer. It's like the same roots, the same.
He is smart.
And I like that he's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. I like that. That's good. That's
accurate. It wasn't supposed to be funny.
Cal Poly guy, so I mean, what are you going to do?
Right? Exactly. 100%. 100%. All right.
Harvard is the Cal Poly of Massachusetts. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's true.
Really?
You joke. No.
Oh.
More wine for us. More wine for us.
Right, so what's our next one?
So that's our Sauvignon Blanc. So Sancerre. Sancerre is incredibly hard to get a hold of for the last couple of years because it has blown up in popularity.
No, that is true.
Oh, it's tough.
That is true, and it's gone up in price and popularity.
Quite a bit.
And you can't, it's scarcity.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like
that's true. I love Sancerre.
This is our
the region in France. Wow.
Top selling account for me in the state is Sanctuary Resort at Elements. They sell it by the glass. Absolutely gorgeous. We go through a ton of it. It goes great.
The one we're drinking.
The one we're drinking.
So good.
So
and what does this sell for a bottle? And how would you describe it?
If you were to get your hands on a bottle, it's going to be probably around $30 or so a bottle.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Sauv Blancs are usually pretty cheap.
Yeah, typically New Zealand particularly.
But not at Sanctuary if you're going to drink it there.
No, for by the glass there, I think they're only like $18 though. It's not bad.
Which is probably one of the better deals there.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah,
okay, that's
great
good.
Quality for the
cool.
what you're doing. But yeah, Sauv Blanc is interesting because it's it literally grows like a weed. You can pretty much plant it almost anywhere. But that being said, this tastes different from a Sonoma Sauv Blanc, and definitely different from you have a New Zealand from Marlborough that's going to end up with all that big pink grapefruit and high acid. That's nothing like the Napa Valley Sauv Blancs. They're going to be grassy and new mown hay, versus I find almost like a little hint of melon and a little bit of peach in this one.
Oh, totally.
And same thing with like Bordeaux. I love Sauv Blanc Semillon blends, which they're famous for, and that's more a mineral complexity to it. So the place where it's grown and the way that it's produced, that's the fingerprints of the terroir and the winemaker.
I love how you give so much description. Because I'm obsessed with that. That's my passion.
I love it.
Like to hear how somebody describes a wine. Like I love that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're making a very abrupt shift.
I know.
Our next wine.
I'm sorry that we. Yes.
No, it's good. So we're gonna go to.
We have another 9 minutes.
Holy cow! I have two more wines, so I'm gonna make it quick.
Okay.
A red blend. This is called Stormwatch. This is one of the top tier wines that we make from San Simeon. And Stormwatch is.
Did you know where San Simeon is? Do you remember going to Hearst Castle?
I was gonna say, I think it's in California.
It is. Yeah.
Do you remember going to Hearst Castle and seeing that castle? Yes.
Yes,
that's right there.
That little village of San Simeon. That was the Deepwater port that was just off of the coast.
Bottoms up, so you can have some. Oh, he already got it ready.
And so for Mr. Hearst, when he was building his castle, he had to bring everything in by ship because think of the 1920s. It's 3 hours north of LA in the good traffic with the good freeways now. So they had to bring everything in by boat. So we named our winery after
that's incredible.
After the ocean and the influence that it has on Paso Robles. So we have wind and primarily the fog that comes in through the Templeton Gap in the Santa Lucia Highland range right there that filters right into our vineyards. And because of that, and you know how hot it can get in even San Luis Obispo, which is closer to the ocean.
It's the wildest temperature swings
crazy.
I've ever seen. There was this one political science class that I would take that went from 5 to 7, and I would go in and it would still be like 85 degrees and like sunny, and I would come out and it would be like 60 and foggy and just freezing.
Yeah,
it's like it's 60 and foggy, but it feels like 45. It's so cold somehow. There's so much moisture in the air.
Exactly.
That fog just rolls in at sunset.
So let's segue back to this.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're talking about the terroir.
You're doing great. No, and I agree with you. Yeah. This is amazing.
Well, you acted like we're talking about something else. We're talking about the region that
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
So how would you describe this wine?
So this is a true Bordeaux blend. So and it would be left bank dominant. So it's Cabernet based. It's almost about 50% Cabernet, but then it has all the 5 noble grape varietals that you have in Bordeaux. So it's Petit Verdot is number 2.
Petit Verdot.
Malbec. Merlot. And then Cab Franc.
Okay.
And those are the 5. So with it, every vintage has a little bit different spin.
Where can we buy it and how much is it?
This one, you're going to find it, I'm going to find it at retail in the $65 range. Not horrible. $55 to $65.
The nose is so interesting.
It's so delicious.
Such a powerful nose, though.
Yeah,
and I haven't smelled a wine like this in a long time.
It's a juggernaut.
It is. It's huge. But the funny part is, taste it though, and I'm anxious to see what you think. Something that the family does, and the conscious decision is we want to make wine in more of a classic Bordeaux refined style. So it's a big, bold, blended wine, but
it's orgasmic.
But it lingers and lingers and lingers.
Smells. The scent is very orgasmic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gorgeous. I mean, it
Riboli
really
needs
that's a statement wine. I mean, so it's really it's a beautiful wine. It's lower in alcohol than a lot of our neighbors. We're typically about 13.9 on this one.
Really?
Where a lot of neighbors are like 14.5. So it doesn't have that big punch because we want the nuance. 18 months and 100% new French oak only, and it just helps for the same thing.
They're so lucky to have you. I think you're incredible.
Well, I'm going to come to you and for an endorsement before
I'm
my next business review. That's good.
I'm serious. This is incredible. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Like, this is amazing, but the way you describe it.
Thank you.
And the way you talk about this passion of your wine and
thank you.
And how you describe it. Yeah. It's just art.
Well, this is funny. So I think of what would I want to drink with this. So a lot of wines, you're like, okay, this has big grippy tannins, and tannins are those things that make your mouth pucker.
Yeah.
And maybe not have enough acid. Acid's what makes your mouth kind of water.
Does it make it kind of unctuous?
Unctuous, yeah, exactly.
Unctuous.
And so you don't have, you need something like a big fatty sirloin steak to cut with the tannin to cut through it. This actually is a little more restrained, so it actually lends itself maybe to a fillet that doesn't have much fat, but might have a nice finishing butter with it that would go great, or some shallots, or if you do a poivre with so you have a lot of opportunities. And this is a very versatile but a very big statement
quaffable
wine.
Very quaffable.
Exactly. So,
cheers. Quaffable.
Enjoy.
Anxious.
Enjoy.
And wow,
that's amazing.
Heartful and delicious. Let's go to our next wine.
I have one more.
And
this is really kind of
our.
This is our.
One more time.
This is our boutique product. So
100% boutique.
100% boutique. Only does about 4,500 cases a year total.
That's it.
That's all. This is one of our 8 vineyards that we own.
What's the price?
This one, if you can
get it. That means. Wait, hold on. Price goes up. I mean, with my Porsche, same way.
Yeah, exactly.
With my Porsche, it's like you can't buy it. So
I saw from the paper this was in Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
So that means Gordon Ramsay approved.
So the funny thing is, we don't make enough of it for him because he wanted it for his Vegas property. So the story here with Hell's Kitchen, Jada's the winery. This is
it's in Paso.
In Paso, in Willow Creek, which is considered really the grand cru of Paso. It's amazing stuff. Dr. Messina, very famous cardiac surgeon, practiced out of Miami. He's second generation American. His family came from Italy. They were fishermen, and he was born and raised in Brooklyn. And so he named all of his wines are named after family members or his background and experience.
When I have my winery, that's what it's going to be. There's going to be a Chet wine and a Rachel.
There you go. Exactly.
And a Kinga.
You got to do it.
And a Kelly.
And a Kelly. I love it. all of the whites in. It'll be okay. With that though,
a Gabe.
So Hell's Kitchen's named because he's from Brooklyn. We have another one's called Jersey Girl, and that's for his wife who's raised in. What is it? Not Poseidon, New Jersey, but right over the.
It's so good. How would you describe it?
So this is his version. He wanted to make the best wines possible of Syrah, so Rhone varietals, and then also Bordeaux varietals. So this is his homage to the Southern Rhone wines. So it's Syrah and Grenache. It's a little bit of Tannat in it as well too. And he wanted to keep it very classical, but it's a gorgeous statement
it's so
wine.
Gorgeous.
You're gonna find it retail probably in the $75 range, something like that.
I think that it's so balanced. It's so balanced and perfection. It's exquisite. I love it.
Ideally, yeah. This is the brand new vintage, so it's actually a baby.
And once again, how much is it?
So you'd find it for about $65 to $75 a bottle. Did you get some?
And where can we buy this? We only have one more minute.
Okay.
So actually, I'm going to end with you talking about how we can find you.
Oh. How
people can hire you for their parties.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Of course.
Sure.
And so let's go.
Okay. So Kelly Boyle, you can reach me at Spirited Tastings, my website, which actually hacked it last week, so my wife was getting it back up today. So spiritedtastings.com in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm happy to book a party for you. I love to do, as much as I love wine and it is my true passion, I can talk for a couple hours about bourbon or tequila.
Can you tell? Hello
So
again.
anything you want to do. I love to talk to people who are passionate
I've
about
never
product like I
found
am.
somebody more passionate and more articulate, eloquent, and loquacious as you about the wine.
That's so sweet. Thank you. What a huge compliment. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's 100%.
Thank you.
Saving the planet one
shot
wine at a time.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was fun.
Till next time.
Thank you. All the wines are for you guys, so just take them home, enjoy
You're
them.
so sweet.
Dig in, have fun. The champagne, though, I don't have a stopper for it, so you gotta. All good. All good. That was fun.
That was beyond fun.
Is that okay? Yeah.